Hello, sorry, there was a little bit disturbance. Some technical fault was there, and that's why the video was disconnected. So, again, I'm there with you to discuss the same thing. So, that was an evolution of Dr. Rajan Sankaran with the help of his books, with the levels of understanding the human life, which he has told time. So, from name, the fact, the feelings, the delusions, the sensations, the energy, and the last one, the seventh. That aspect we were discussing. In his life, he developed like that. In his life, he developed his books in the similar manner. All of his hobbies with which he has approached towards the seventh, and that's why when he came out with this recent book, that is the From Shadow to the Light. In this book, he tried to explain the different experiment he has done while taking the cases. So that was a unique one. When you enter into the book, it is not essential for you to follow the sensation method. It is, he has written over there that it is not only for the purpose of sensation level. Any person who is dealing with the another patient, any person who is learning or the another patient, or who is taking the case of the person, these ideas helps. These are the different processes which we have done, and that's why he has explained the word that is the very specifically the wise processes, and those processes which he has tried, experimented over there, that I want to highlight over there. So this is a unique thing which you can learn from this book. So we'll go little bit through the books. So he has first introduced what is exactly meant by the wise process. So he starts with the overall concepts in the book. He explains over there the introduction, exactly the way he's evolved. Then he has given certain photographs over there, the photographs of the swan. Then he has given one more photograph which he has himself taken of a tree. Then another photograph of a tree. Then he has explained the concept with which he has approached, that is the way he entered into the case, right from the name, the facts, the feelings, the mm, delusions, then directly into the sensations, then energy patterns with the help of the gestures, and lastly to the reach to the seventh, where there is a other song, please. So all those things, then he explains the concept of the kingdoms, the mineral kingdom, the animal kingdom, the plant kingdom, and then he has explained one more thing, the in introduction to the subclass and superclass over there, what are the feelings, what are the things which are there, and then he starts explaining about this process, the witnessing, the inner song experience, the wise process. So there are different wise processes over there. So these are the things which you have to learn through from this book. So when he enters into the wise process, the way Hahnemann told that during case taking, what are the do's and don'ts of the case taking, in the similar manner, Sankaran sir said that if you want to really go with this method, what are the things what a homeopath should follow, what are the things the homeopath should look for, and what he can instruct to his patients. Because when you are dealing with that patient, instead of dealing with his logic, or instead of dealing with the using his intellect, you enter into the inside, you go inside, you understand inside, you find it out the inner nature of the patient, and for that purpose the logic should not play any role. At that time one should not go ahead with anything. So these are very important things which he has mentioned over there. So how to begin with the wise processes, he explains over there, and initial instructions for the patient, when to use wise, that also he has explained. Then questioning during the wise, how, what are the questions, how you can go ahead, how you can enter into the next field. Those are the different things which he has mentioned over there. Then he has explained all those levels, and which are different wise processes you can follow. So wise processes you can go, if you want to learn the first the name and fact level, you can just show a picture and ask what is it, you can get the name. But when you have to enter into the emotional level, you can go to, or you can reach to the childhood level, the crisis moments in their life, which how they have faced, what it has what impact it has there on that patient. Then delusion and imagination level, you show them the different images, and through that images you can go ahead. So he has given examples of different images in the books. The first, the two trees, the two swans, two movements. So the wall, that is the another method which he has tried in the wise process. Then he has tried another method, that is the posture method, which he has explained. Then he has explained the free stroke methods over there. Then the sound method, where he has tried two different levels, that is the keynote method, keyboard method, or just a babbling nonsense talk with which you can approach. What they are very important. So these are very essential things which you have to understand. These are very essential entities which you have to learn. So how can you go ahead with those different pictures? He has given illustrated through illustrated cases. First, he has explained the first method, that is the sensation level, how to go ahead with illustration of the four different cases which he has explained over there, and those through those cases he has tried to explain exactly what he wants to say or why they are so important. So when he has given four cases of sensation method over there. Then he explained the four cases uh, thoroughly mentioned over there, the doctor and patient interview. And that doctor and patient interview was very clearly explained. And with the help of that, he tried to explain the inner core of the human being. What happens when we used to learn homeopathy? We used to learn with a common entity. We learn the organon of medicine, we learn the materia medica, the fixed drugs, the polycrests, constitutional medicines, we learn the organon of medicine along with the repertory, and we reach with the common symptoms of the patient to the same remedies again and again. With these wise processes, one important thing happens, that if you reach to the inner core of the human being and understand that human being, then you can understand basically the inner nature of the person, and at that time you can reach directly with the exact similum. So the four cases which he has illustrated while explaining that, the first case in which he has given the Heliatus, the eagle, that is the case of a irregular menses and headache, and we don't know the remedy. We can never reach to that remedy unless and until we understand the inner nature of the human being. When we reach to that level specifically, then if you go with the understanding of this remedy, there is very little literature available over there. I have read that literature. I have read, whenever I used to repertorize, I used to get this remedy, but exact picture of that remedy was not knowing, and that's why it is very difficult to reach to that remedy. It is very difficult to find it out. Heliatus. There are few rubrics which are there regarding this Heliatus, which we have found over there, that there is a pain, cramping, pain in the head, vertex, back part, posterior. The single remedy is there, Heliatus. Then headache, sides rising, aggravated by squatting. That is the Heliatus. Or head tension, vertex, menses, beginning of. Heliatus is the remedy. But these are the things when you can get, when you reach to the depth of the case taking, though then you can get such types of symptoms in the case. This wise process gives you a different idea regarding that case taking. So what one can do? One can do only certain thing. He has shown the method of using the in the wise process, that is the device images, that is the name given to it. He has made certain images, he has developed those images, and he shows it to the patient. And when he shows to the patient, he asks him to just look towards the images and what you feel internally regarding those images. Don't use your intellect, don't use your logic, just explain what you feel. Because that explains the individuality. What he feels is an individuality. Looking towards the images gives you a individuality of that specific person, because he, with his own aspect, he looks towards those pictures. And he has shown different varieties of pictures and different expressions to looking towards the same picture. So there are four cases he explains over there. At the level of sensation, he has given the hyoscyamus niger for the second case, a case of migraine and hypertension. The third case which he has explained is the Cactus grandifloras for the ankylosing spondylitis. We cannot think of ankylosing spondylitis and cactus, but he reached to that core sensation, and where he can reach to the specifically the cactus over there. The cactus, you know that it is from the Cactaceae family, and miasm is malarial, where there are very typical sensations when we learn that it is a constricting sensation, caged like sensation, as if something is obstructing or compressing over there. That trapped sensation, that is very typical with the Cactaceae. And when he has given that cactus to the patient who is suffering from ankylosing, how he gets relieved from that. So what happens when we never follow these methods, and when we go with the routines, we reach to the routine remedies, and it takes long time to get healed. It doesn't mean that we never get results in those patients. We get the results, definitely we get the result, but it takes long period. But if you reach to the same perfect simillimum with the help of your remedies, you can give them and you can find it out results very early in your practice. He has shown one more case over there in the sensation method, that is the Saracelia purpura for the allergy and headache cases. For the allergy and headaches, we cannot reach to that remedy generally. What happens? It is a remedy which is mentioned over there and has a very detailed understanding. It is a pitcher plant. It is a carnivorous plant. And he reached towards that with the help of a sensation that the patient has shown very typically the features over there as if trapped over there, falling into the pit over there, and showing the typical sensations, trapped, constricted, the spasmodic sensations over there. And then with the help of that, he reached to the miasm of malaria. And when he compares the carnivorous plant with the malarial miasm, the remedy with his schema, you can reach to that remedy, the Saracenia. That remedy brings that patient out completely at the innermost layer, and that cure is right from center to periphery. So these are the things which very easily helps you in your practice. While explaining the second process of wise method, that is device images, he has given three different remedies, though out of which one remedy is uncommon for us. It is a mollusk, that is the Mytilus edulis. It is he has prescribed for the case of a vitiligo, and a difficult vitiligo case came out with the help of that. If you go with his book, you can find it out that those feelings of that typical remedy. It is nothing but a mollusk, and that mollusk is having a very clear cut sensation in that case, and that he reached with the help of just through the images he has shown them then patient. And it is not only one, with the help of one image, he used to show one image, then find it out what patient talks, then he gives second image, then again he compares with that, and what he again understand the patient with the second image, then third one he gives to the patient, and with the help of 3-4 images you can find it out, the patient reaches to the same level, because that is patient's own understanding regarding those images, and at that time you can reach to certain levels. So these are different aspects which you can use in your practice. Then he has explained example of our method, the doodle method, where he used to give the plain paper to the patient and a pencil, and he asked that whatever is there in your mind you can write, you can draw, but you should not use intellect, you should not use any specific logic, just go on putting lines over there and whatever comes in your mind. And then he asked that look towards those lines and what it says. It again says the inner level of the human mind, that individuality, that which is not, that is not a human, but inside the human, the other song which is playing, which comes out through it. One more he has explained over there. While explaining this doodle method, he has given one example of a recurrent nasal polyps with dust allergy, and he explains the remedy, venous. So again, a mollusk. It is a remedy from the mollusk, the clam, and this venous mercenaria. This remedy you can get in his book, the mollusk, and you can find it out the homeopathic literature also there. But you, when you do a regular case taking, you cannot reach to that level, the inner level of the patient, you cannot get those sensations, and for that purpose these methods help. Another process which he has tried to explain over there is wall method. So he explains to the patient that you keep in your own mind, you create a certain wall, look towards that wall, any wall, it is whatever wall which you have observed, that just find it out, close your eyes, look towards that wall, think about that wall, and what comes to your mind, go on talking about that. Through that, person talks with his own aspect towards that wall. So if there is a wall of a Taj Mahal in front of your mind, the way you express this is your inner core which expresses, which tries to explain the Taj Mahal with your own ways, with your own idea. That is your individuality. So that is one more thing, one more method which he has explained. And while explaining that wall method, he has given example of a tuberculinum case. So how he reached towards the tuberculinum, that aspect is given over there. The next one, another method, that the stroke method, to which he labels by the stroke method, and he used to give a blank big paper, a card sheet, and different colors, and a brush, and ask his patient to just find it out, put your strokes over there, put think about whatever the color you want to select that color, right, and just put strokes over there, and after completing that, just look towards it, and while looking towards that, explain what is there. When person or when a patient talks about those strokes, whatever he has written, at that time it happens automatically that a person's inner aspect starts coming out. That inner aspect is his individuality, and which is necessary to find it out a very right remedy or right simile. So a stroke method, where he has mentioned a Bible remedies again from his book. Then he has mentioned regarding the postural method over there, the sound method over there. In sound method, he has explained the two important ways with which you can go. First example, that keyboard method, and he asked that don't utilize again your logic or anything in your mind. Just put a sound over there, use the keyboard, and whatever comes over there, because that is his specific state at that time, and just record that and show again, reproduce it to the patient, and tell him that what is this sound explains. When he talks about that specific sound, then he talks about himself, and when he talks about himself, that is the individuality. Then There is one more method which he has used while doing this sound process is the babbling or nonsense talking. Ask the patient to go for it. Just whatever is there in your mind, just go on talking and talking and talking and find it out the way he talks. Understand that what he is talking, it is nonsense talking, but that nonsense talking comes from the inner song of the patient. That inner song, if you are able to reach, then you can reach to the right simillimum or a perfect simillimum. It is not right, it is a perfect simillimum. So these are the methods which are different ways of going towards the case study. These are new ideas which he has introduced. It was the thought in his mind which he has tried in his practice, and he explains, says, this is one way with which you can understand the human nature. What happens when we put a question, how is your nature, to the patient? It is very difficult that patient you get a patient's inner nature. Everyone is psychotic. He will going to talk about good things about himself, exactly the real nature of the person. And that's why generally it happens that you never get the reality of the patient. And that's why he started doing different experiments. And those experiments, which were not only he has tried over there on the patients, first they have tried in their treats when they gather together in Sampurnam or in their groups, and they tried different ways. So sir have put taken any picture, then he used to show it to the whole group, and he used to write it down, what happens after, what are the thoughts which comes after looking toward them, and through which he was writing down that initiality of that person. Then he used to analyze them, and with the help of that, he had started utilizing all those methods in his practice. So what we can learn from this? We can learn from Dr. Rajan Sankaran the way he approached with new thoughts, the way with which he was going ahead. He has not kept the same thing which were there followed since last 250 years, but he came out with different thoughts, different views, and all those which he has applied in his practice. He has experimented over them. He has experimented it on himself. He has experimented on his team. He has experimented with his patients, and then came out with the wise methods. So we can learn from him that in our homeopathic practice, we should not follow only the things. We should follow the path. The path which has been developed by Dr. Hahnemann sir. The same path is followed by Dr. Rajan Sankaran sir. The way Hahnemann sir started experimenting in his life right from 1790 to the 1843, he was continuously doing different experimentation and came out with new thoughts, new ideas, new concepts, and new laws, and ultimately with the last edition of Organ of Medicine. In the similar manner, if you find it out towards the Shankaran Sir's aspect, you can find it out the same thing he has followed. He never remained stuck with the same thing. So when he started practice in 19, I think it is 1983 or like that, or 81, I cannot recollect it, but he was not stuck with that same method. He started changing, he started thinking, he started evolving himself, and it was a good evolution. Roots were there, and they were cultivated by different peoples. There were different friends who were practicing homeopathy of his father, and all of them, with all of them, Dr. Sankaran sir, Rajan Sankaran sir, went over there, learned the homeopathy, developed the thought process, and with his own idea, he came out. What we can learn? We can learn from him the way he has approached with the new idea. It is not he is not saying that you follow only this thing. There are mistake we used to do is nothing but we used to follow the same pictures. We used to follow the same methods. It is not like that. With that aspect, we can learn that we can go ahead by utilizing our own intellect in order to develop our case taking, in order to develop our understanding of the patient. So, this book one must read and understand properly and apply the different ways in order to understand the patient. It's really nice, and you can learn lot things, how to go ahead with the questions, how he approach, how he utilize the same sentence of the patient for the next question, how he keeps the patients in between, how he looks toward the patient with a different approach. When patient is saying something, how he puts another exactly opposite word so that patient can talk with that also. So these are different aspects one can learn from that. So there are a number of things when we talk about Dr. Rajan Sankaran sir, lot of things. And in fact, I used to say him guru, even though I have not went to his OPD for learning the homeopathy, but I have learned it through all through his books. It is right from 1995 practice, and I'm finding it out different. I'm not following whole thing as it is. I'm doing my homeopathic practice, but I understand the ideas. I learned the concepts. I learned how he understands the remedy at the depth. All those things I used to learn from him. It is not necessary for everyone to go into the sensation method, or it is not necessary for everyone to follow the same way what he is doing. We must learn how he learned, how he has developed. It is our duty. So, on the occasion of this Hahnemann Day, my suggestion to all of my homeopathic students that they should go through his books, and not only with this new one. Yes, definitely it is really is helpful in your practice in the process of case taking, definitely. But my suggestion is that those who have not read the spirit, who have not read the substance, or who have not read the soul, first read those basic books. So the concepts of homeopathy gets cleared. And then one by one, the way the books were published, that list already I have mentioned while discussing that. Though that way, if you go ahead, then automatically your thinking process develops. So this is so important to go ahead with this method, and the shadow which is there inside us, we can bring it into the light. It is really a good name given to the book. So he has shown a shadow on one side and from the left side, and towards the right side, it is exactly the light on his face. Really, it's a wonderful understanding of the human life, and this is what should happen in human life. We are always in shadow. As we get or gain knowledge, automatically the light enters in your life. Automatically we reach towards day by day towards the more and more light, and that is what is needed. If you are learning the homeopathy, the science which is spiritual, then you have to learn this human nature, and you have to go ahead following the paths of Hahnemann, following the paths of the Dr. Rajan Sankaran sir. So these are the stalwarts in the field of homeopathy, and we have to learn from them the path they are doing or they are following. We have to follow, we have to learn, we have to experiment, we have to use our own ideas, we have to come out with them, we have to find it out whether they works, whether they never works, all those things. And if we go in this manner, I'm quite sure that you are on the path of them. So we can reach to the same level, the level of seventh, where we understand the nature, where there is no need to talk, there is no need to discuss, there is no need to utilize or utter a single word. The silence in between can explain or understand each another, because you reach to that level. And this is the impact, the thing which is shown by both of them. And that's why on the occasion of this Hahnemann Day, I wanted to share my thoughts regarding this book and regarding Dr. Rajan Sankaran's life, and comparing it with our master, Dr. Samuel Hahnemann, so that we can go ahead with the path developed by them. So thank you being there since long time. Little bit consequences happened, little bit disturbances happened in between. So there, this video might be there in two sessions, part one and part two. But if you have not understood the first part, it is there on the our channel. So go through that and continue with this second part. Thank you being there, and to all of you, wish a lot on the occasion of Hahnemann Day. Be Hahnemann, be Sankaran. Thank you very much. Hmm?